Hello there, welcome back to another one of my videos. Today we're going to be messing around with the lambretta engine, putting in some studs, doing some squish clearance, and also we'll be measuring the volume of the cylinder head and doing compression ratio. So should be quite interesting. Let's go ahead and do it. Okay, we're going to start off today. We're going to soak these plates from the BGM. This is a BGM 6 plate clutch, so we're going to give them a good soaking in our gear oil, so well submerged, and put a lid on so we don't get any crap dripping in there. And we're going to leave that now for a good 6 hours. So I like to soak at minimum 6 hours in the oil before we fit the clutch. Can soak it overnight if you want to. There's no limit to the amount you can soak it because it sits in oil for the rest of its life, so you can give it a good soak. The more you soak it the better, but good 6 hours, and that will make the oil penetrate all the corks, and that's it just how we want it. So in the meantime we'll finish off a few bits here, and we're going to put the studs in, and we're going to dry build the cylinder to check our squish and cylinder head volume and things. So we'll do a few more bits now. Right, before we put the studs in, we've cleaned up the threads, running a dye down there, so the threads are all nice and clean. Now we're just going to run a tap, clean any old crap and shit out of the threads in the casing, which is fairly easy to do. Make sure you don't cross thread, nice and gentle. We'll just clean them up. Basically there's just a bit of dirt coming out, that's all. The boring bits of the job, but has to be done. Nothing like wiping it on your trousers. Okay, that's the last one. Nicely done. Let's find a cloth. Just protect the inside of there. Okay, no debris, perfect and clean. Right, so what we're going to do, we've got our studs, we're going to drop a tiny bit of Loctite on them. if I can find my Loctite. Look at that. There we go. Not high strength, just a low strength Loctite on it. And we have got a little tool here somewhere. Yep. This is from BGM stuff. It's a little tool for putting in your studs, but it's completely useless for trying to take them out because it just comes loose. The only way to for getting them out, the trusty 2-nut system. But for putting them in, this is really handy. Where's my thing? It's just a 19mm spanner on this end. Lock it with your Allen key, and basically in it goes. The old locking 2 nuts together does the same job. It's just a little bit more fiddly, that's all. But they're quite handy. But they're only good for putting studs in. If you try to use them to take studs out, they just come free every time. They're not good. They're not. It won't tighten up enough to do it. But the 2 nuts get your studs out, no problem. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next bit, which is basically we're just going to do a dry build here to check our squish clearance. So we'll do that now. Okay, we'll see if we can zoom in a little closer. Oh, wrong way. Oh, it's as close as it gets. Right. Right, we've just put a temporary gasket on because that'll be going in the bin after we've used it, because once it's been squashed I don't like using them again. So we're just going to, this is a dry build, so basically there's just a little bit of lube on a few bits, but not much. We're basically going to put this together just to do the squish. So there's no piston rings, no clips or anything like that. So slot that together nicely. Okay. Obviously I'll put a tiny bit of lubrication in the bore so piston slips in nice and doesn't mark anything. Come on. Gasket's a bit crappy. There we go. Okay, it is on. So right, we've got a selection of various thickness of gaskets to select from if we need it. But first of all, we're just going to go with no gasket at all. Just going to drop that down the board a bit. I'm going to make a little W shape to go in here, which undoubtedly we'll have to stick in with some grease. 1 minute. So, a few blobs of grease, that should hold it in place. Yep. Cylinder head on. Alright, just a sec. Okay, we're just going to nip the head down first by hand. Okay. Give it a little clean up. And give it a measure with the vernier. Okay, where is the vernier? Up there. Right, let's have a look, see. .2, nice. This side. 1.2, so it's very even all the way across. So we have 1.2 squish clearance, which is pretty well bang on where I want to be, bang on the money. Okay, so we're going to run no head gasket because we've already machined the clearance on the head anyway, and it will be run with Loctite sealant and no head gasket. It doesn't require one. So that'll be the job, and that's good squish clearance. So now we can calculate and do our cylinder head volume in a bit, because now we know our squish clearance is 1.2 mil. We can account for that when we measure our squish clearance. and the volume in the head, because we need to know what the volume of the head is for our compression ratio. Because we still might have to go all through this again, because I might have to remachine stuff. But at the moment everything's going sweet. Right, brilliant. Right, well, there's lots of different ways to work out your cylinder head volume, but I've tried to do it the simplest way for people so they can do it easily without too many calculations, calculating the head gasket volume, subtracting your dome of your piston, and all these things that you have to do if you're calculating it properly. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, we're going to work out the volume that our spark plug head takes up. So we're now going to fill here with liquid, and that's only taken 1 cc. Great. Okay, so we got 1 cc for the spark plug. Okay, here's the trick. We put a little edge of plasticine around where the piston sits. Piston still fits inside all the way to the bottom. Now what we have to do first is now measure the piston as it sits completely at the bottom. Okay, and that gives us 68.8. So write that down. So we've got 68.8 mil, 0.8 millimeters. So we want 1.2 clearance. So that will then give us 69 and 0.2, which is 70. So now that gives us exactly 70 millimeters. So what we do now is take the piston back out, squash the plasticine in gently till we create a resistance for the piston to sit in properly. This is also going to create our seal. So now we put the piston back in and press it down gently and measure to 70 mil. So we need this to sit now at 70 mil. Not quite, a bit more. Gently down with the measurement. Bit more. Press it in a little bit more. Make sure you get it even. We will take measurements all the way around. And we're going a bit too far now. Oh no. We're a bit lopsided. So back the other way. Tiny bit more this way, and I think we should be there. 70. Ooh, just slightly. Yes. 70, 70, 70. Right, so now we're at 70. What we need to do, put a little bit more plasticine on to hold this damn thing in place, because we don't want it to move. Recheck our measurement. Sweet. Sweet, 70mm. So now the piston is in exactly where it should be if it was in the cylinder. So now, if we now turn it over and hold it gently, and then fill up our combustion chamber, check where we're on at the moment 33 centilitres. Just hope we've got enough. Bang on. Okay, so we've now got 4 centilitres left. 4 centilitres left from 33. Okay, so calculations time. So first of all, we need to work out our exact cubic capacity, which is 0.14 times by 70mm 35 times by 35 times by 60mm stroke gives us 230.79 cc. 230.79 cc. So we've got 29 cc's volume, but we have to remove 1 cc for the spark plug, so that now gives us 28 cc's. Remember, we measured the volume of the spark plug, so now we've got 28 cc's volume. So that is then shared by 28 cc's, shared by 28, and it gives us 8.24 compression ratio to 1. 8.24 to 1. That is our compression ratio for a swept compression ratio, not corrected compression ratio. For what we're going to be, what we want to know is the swept compression ratio, 8.24 to 1. And considering we're on a touring engine, that's quite nice compression ratio. I'm not going to take any extra volume out the head. We're sweet, 8.2. Okay, so we've got a squish clearance of 1.2mm. We've got a compression ratio of 8.25 to 1. Okay, yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Hope you're going to remember to subscribe to me, thumbs up, ding the little bell, and make sure that you put all notifications on it so you get to see my other videos when they come out. Hopefully I'll have more coming soon. Interesting stuff. What you want? Dog. Okay, see you later everybody. Enjoy.